Hey everybody, Thank you for coming back. This is episode 4. So I know I said I was going to do it in the same day, same outfit. None of that happened. Anyway, but that's okay. So here to get it done today. So the last episode we talked about the preparedness, and this episode was going to discuss the diagnosis, like what actually happened. I've been talking about it for 2 weeks. What actually happened? So um, this is going to actually be a long story short. So, anyway, what happened was on June 1st, I woke up. I was just totally disoriented. I didn't know which way was up or down. I was having trouble even sitting up. I literally was in the bed. So I was just having trouble sitting up. The room was, spinning. Like, don't get me wrong. I've been drunk in the room, has did the spinning thing. Way worse, way worse. And I was nauseous. So I'm automatically nervous because I don't get nauseated very often. I don't get upset stomachs very often. So that was just a super red flag on top of the room spinning. So that's what made it so difficult for me to put on clothes because I couldn't really stand. Walking, I was grabbing on to stuff. So I was just totally disoriented. It's not me. That's not me at all. So of course panic set in. I did our family version of a 911 call and called the closest person that was to us to come and assist me and get me out of the house. So that is what happened to me, and that's what caused me to go to emergency. So anyway, so then once we got to the hospital, a couple of things happened that I want to kind of share that I wasn't really happy with after the fact. So first things first, when I got there, you know the person that took me in was answering the majority of the questions because at this time I'm holding a barf bag. I'm trying to keep it together. So they answered the questions as best as they could, and then they ended up putting me in a room. Well, even from when I walked in, well, I didn't walk in; they wheeled me in. But from when I came into the room, one of the first things that they said was to, everybody kept saying, "Well, smile." Well, what? I'm sick. What do you want me to smile about? But then this other person came up and said, "Well, could you stick out your tongue?" Excuse me. So I was just like, at that point, I'm like, what are y'all, so, but I'm still so sick. I'm so disoriented. And literally it was like I was fainting. So I kept like coming back in, and then I'm in one room and I'm coming back in and I'm in another room. So, this went on, which what I thought was maybe about 2 to 3 hours, but it actually turned out to be like about 6 hours, because I just had no comprehension of like time, just nothing. I was just literally spinning. So they ended up doing some tests. We're gonna talk about that. And then I was discharged. So the diagnosis, let me give you that. So I was ended up diagnosed with vertigo. Well, that was shocking because, like I said, I've never had any type of, fainting or, dizzy spells that left me disoriented. I've never had any of that. So I was just really shocked, like vertigo. And I asked, well, what caused it? Undetermined was what they said. Undetermined. So let's get to the meat of it. So that's what happened to me. But the reason that I ended up doing the videos, just jumping into it and starting to do the videos, was because I just really wanted, it was a scary thing, and you just don't want to leave things undone. For me, that's just where I'm at. I don't want to leave things undone. I want to start putting things in place the way that they want to. The time was now for me. So, what I really was upset about once I got released was that my sister ended up, she's one of those med people, med MD, Google, she's doing this. So really there were, we came to find out there were really like four major causes for vertigo, which were a heart arrhythmia. It was a stroke, which is the reason they were asking me to smile and stick my tongue out. The third is a sugar, your sugar adjusting, diabetic. And the fourth was stress. So you could get in a stressful position and go into this vertigo. So anyway, so those were the four things. So mine was undetermined. So I do have a primary care doctor that I'm really close with. I've been with him for like 15 years. And so of course, they send my records to him. I called him when this, situation happened when I got home, and he was like, "Hey, listen, I want you to come in. I want to see you. I'm going to get the records. I'm going to see what happened here." And so I ended up going in to see actually the nurse practitioner because he couldn't get me in that quickly, but we wanted to get this, a handle on this thing. So the nurse practitioner saw me. One of the biggest red flags is she was like, "Well, where's your blood work? Where's your blood work? Where's your, did they take any tests?" And they never took blood work from me, and they never even took a urine sample. They literally looked at me, saw, oh, she's a big girl, she's having a stroke, or she's having some type of heart failure. You know what I'm saying? And I felt, judged. One, pissed. Two, I was in my feelings about that, because at the time when she asked me and I said they didn't take it, that's when I realized they didn't take it. Because like I said, during the time that it was happening, I was so in and out that I really just, I'm usually a shot caller. Like, hey, I need you to do this. I need that. I'll take two of those. No, we won't sit there. Like, I usually pretty much guide my life the way I want it to go. But this time I was just like totally out of it, and I just had zero input to how I was treated. And so when she told me that, I really got upset, because they didn't really do what they needed to do for me. So she started going down the list. So I have a physical every 6 months. I know. People have a physical once a year. I have one twice a year. It's just the way that my doctor is set up. At first I thought it was a money thing, but I stopped thinking that years ago because there are fluctuations, you know what I'm saying? And you don't want to have a fluctuation in your health and you not know a year. It takes a year for you to know about this fluctuation. So we do them every 6 months. So he looked back 6 months ago, and I think it was in January we did the last one. Yeah, January we did the last one. So when we did the last one in January, of course he checks everything, kidney function. Another thing I want to add. People don't, when you take a physical, they don't give you an STD test. Because of insurance purposes, sometimes they don't pay for it. Please ask for an STD test, people. I didn't know that either. And he was like, well, I'm going to do an STD. There's going to be an extra charge, but I just want you to know in advance. And I'm like, ain't that standard with the rest of the stuff you check it? He was like, it's not standard. I didn't know that. So I want to share that with you. But anyway, back on track. So, of course he's checking, like I said, all of the, the functions, we did EKGs, we looked at, blood work, we looked at vitamin levels, we looked, and so second fat shaming moment that happened was, so they did an A1C. So my A1C was at 6.6. Well, the ceiling is, really 6.5 to 7. You're on that border. You should be under that 6.5. But I was at 6.6. So he said, well, you were at 6.6 in January, and he knows that I'm a type of person, I'm really not a big medicine person, like tell me what I need to do to kind of get myself back on track. And so, which I've been doing, which is literally cutting back on my sugars and my carbs, and of course adding some more exercise, which will be the videos that'll be coming forward, so that'll be fun. But anyway, so yeah, so that's what he had diagnosed. So I'm panicked, what I'm saying. Like I said, none of this has ever happened to me before. I'm searching for like internet answers, but I also want some real life answers too. So I'm calling all of my friends that are like in my age group and really my circle period, which is a varying age group for whatever reason. But anyway, it's good. So I'm calling everybody. I'm like, hey, I went to the doctor, and my sugar was up, and they were like, oh yeah. And then they started casually throwing out these numbers. Oh yeah, mine's 11. Mine's 9.2. Mine is, and then they were like, well, what is yours? And then I said 6.6. Like, eyes big. What? Like, yours is 6.6. Like, what number did you think I was at? You thought just because I was a big girl, my number was going to be higher than yours? And it wasn't? And you're shocked? No, what I'm shocked at is that your number is that high, And you're not doing anything about it. You're not doing anything. You're not talking. Let me tell you something. If my A1C had been higher, like these people were talking about, everybody named Mama would know it. That's why y'all know now 646. Because I'm, like it's not a bad number, but it still is a number. So anyway, again, bringing it in. That is what happened to me. That is what the diagnosis was. What I learned from that is that one, as a people, as my circle, my friends, we're not taking our health seriously. Some of this, they don't even know their numbers. So one, I just want to tell everybody, please learn, check your numbers. I said in one of my other videos about how I always take things as a hint. If something randomly pops up, and it relates to something that's been kind of like on my mind, I take it as a hint from God. Like this is a way of him saying, do what you're supposed to do. So hopefully if you've been having some, sluggishness, some energy levels that aren't right or, normal for you or whatever, that you do check your numbers. And then here's another thing. When you check your numbers, take those numbers seriously. Put yourself in a place to where those numbers can go back. So all of that to say this, that even though those were the 4 symptoms for the vertigo that was happening, we are now, like, I've been going back and forth to the doctor. I've been doing the things that they've been asking me to do. We're now starting to kind of slide towards the other possibility that no one had considered, is that your balance and equilibrium is in your ear. Well, you're just now getting to know me, but you'll know I have these weird ear things all the time. It's really the only thing that I can't really get under control. So we are going to see an ENT about my ear to see if there's anything wrong with my inner ear, which I suspect that there most likely is, or the 4th one was stress. So another thing I've done was started doing more things that I enjoy. So this is one of them. And I'm relaxing a little more. I'm spending a lot more quality time with the people that I love. And it's been pretty fun. You know what I'm saying? I mean, don't get me wrong. It's been good for me, but it's been really, really fun too, because I wasn't really actively doing things to distress. So like dinner parties and going with my friends to do little, no big events. I'm a real laid back girl. I like private stuff, just going places and hanging out, chilling, movies, whatever we do, what I'm saying? Those are the things that I do to, really try to zen. Plus, we'll be doing the exercise thing. So I'll tell you some other things that I do for Zen that I know you probably think is strange, but they work. So that's really what it is. So again, long story long, which I thought this was going to be a long story short. It's not. It's turning into, we're approaching the 15-minute window. But again, like I said, so really what it was a, vertigo. There was, the scariest thing. You're not even able to walk. I'm telling you, you ever know how toddlers walk with that, they take a foot up, but they don't put it down? It's kind of like a hesitation before. It was just not. The whole situation, from the physical of it, the look of it, was just not something that I would want to go through. So again, that's what's starting this whole process. I am so glad that everyone has been patient enough with me to go through this, and hopefully you'll carry on. I'm going to be making some changes to how I do this, but I'm still going to be doing this. So deal with it. I hope you enjoy it. But yeah, so last thing I just want to say here is that, again, I am well, and I hope that you are doing well, and I hope that you become an active member in doing well. It is a blessing. It is a blessing, but it's a blessing that requires reciprocation. You've got to do something back to continue this blessed life that you have. So you have to be able to put in the work. So one, like I said, if you haven't had physical, especially if there's any of my guys that are watching, because, not trying to stereotype y'all, but I heard you don't do doctors very well. But even with my guys, check yourself, check your numbers, do what you need to do to get yourself in where you feel. And that's going to be big too. You'll see that in the video, because of course this is going to come with some weight loss, and it's really where I feel. I'm not on a chart. My chart is those numbers. I have people that are 50 pounds, 100 pounds lighter than I am. and their numbers are way higher than I am. So really my goal is to get my numbers together, and that's what I hope that you'll join me on, that lifestyle portion of my vlog slash podcast, most likely vlog, but going forward. So anyway, that is the diagnosis. That is what happened. Again, it was just a light bulb for me, so it made me do some changes in my life, and I'm glad that you're joining me with those changes, and hopefully we can interact and you can let me know some of the things that are going on with your life. I am interested, and like, stay tuned for progress, because that's what I'm looking for from it. But anyway, again, thank you so much. Sorry for the delay. I didn't get a chance to do this. I hung out with my studio audience, and didn't get a chance to put this one up, but this is it, and I will see you in the next one. So again, have a great day. Thank you, and be safe. Enjoy Juneteenth. Happy Juneteenth. And yeah, have a great day. Bye.